Can you memorize 1400 random digits in half an hour? No? Well, this is what world memory champions do, and yes, there's a world championship for memorization. This is truly amazing, and on this channel we want to become academic weapons by using evidence-based tips and tricks to learn and study better. And what is a better place to search for learning techniques than the most competitive learning tournament on this planet? So in this video, we will dig deep into how these champions learn and memorize, and how we can apply it to become academic weapons on our own. But first, you may consider subscribing to my channel in order to go on a journey and become an academic weapon with me. Before we understand how these crazy people memorize 1000 digits in half an hour, we have to understand how learning really works. We already covered a lot of topics in recent videos, but in essence, learning has to be multi-sensory learning in order to be efficient. What does multi-sensory learning mean? Well, it means to engage with as many senses as possible while learning. We are talking about hearing, watching, touching, imagining, and even smelling. Our brain constantly seeks for patterns when we try to recall information. The more anchors and roots it has to recall information, the easier recalling information becomes. So imagine you try to study for a subject like history. If you only read a text, it will be almost impossible to recall that information at a later point because you are only engaged with one sense. However, when you start to read out loud, you will also hear what you just read. Meaning your brain gets the chance to form more neural connection because more neurons are active. If you combine that with annotating text while reading out loud, you engage 200% more with the subject, thus increasing your chances to recall that information at a later point dramatically. Studies found that when using 2 or more senses, learning and memory get a boost. And this is what we need in order to become academic weapons. You may have heard that people claim to be visual learners. This is somehow true because we are all visual learners. 60% of our brain capacity is used for visual information processing. So when presented with good visual information, most people will be able to learn better compared to only hearing that information. However, studies show that by both watching and hearing information, recall of information can get boosted by up to 50%. That's why video content is great for learning, and that's why I thought that this type of content is the best for you guys to learn how to study with me. Same goes for touch and sight. If you somehow engage with your hands while learning, you also boost your chances of recalling information, and taking notes may be sufficient for that. Even smelling has shown to be very effective for boosting recall of information. Studies have shown that when students were smelling very distinct odors like roses, recall was boosted. So all studies suggest that when you learn, do multi-sensory learning. Now let's come back to our hero Dominic and other world memory champions. How do they memorize in particular? They use a method called the method of Loci. Loci is Latin for places, and this method is applied as follows. When you try to memorize information, try to visualize the information in your mind by linking them to known locations in your mind. For example, imagine the house you spent your childhood in. There may be animals, like a cat or a dog. There may be brothers and sisters, there may be a wardrobe, there may be pictures hanging on the wall. All this information is already known to you. Now you try to walk through your house, you vividly imagine, and link new information to memorize, like random digits, to the items that you are still aware of, and try to sort the order of the set of childhood memories such that there is a logical pattern. For example, you want to memorize the number sequence 2314. Which is not very hard, but you get the point. You have 2 brothers, 3 cats, 1 wardrobe, and 4 pairs of shoes that were always present in your mind. So, in your mind, you arrange your brothers to the door, your cats behind them, just next to that 1 wardrobe, and the 4 pair of shoes on top of the wardrobe. By going through your house in your mind, you are more likely to recall the underlying information, which are the numbers that are represented by the items, than if you just repeat the numbers over and over again. Of course, this only makes sense if you have very detailed memories about your house or any other place and the route you take there, but these world champions have spent thousands of hours to deepen their inner route in their house to place information in any combination they want. I think this is incredible. Okay, You may say that's cool, but I will not do that. It's way too much effort to construct a memory to then place new information there when I have to recall it. Fair. I just wanted to show you the most extreme version of learning, and now we will leverage it. I will present you my rules for learning that I follow that make me an academic weapon that are based on all the information I just provided you. First, when you read a text, annotate it, make notes and mark information. Here you already engage with two senses, which makes learning more easy. Second, once you are done with reading, in your mind imagine you standing in front of your high school class explaining the text you just read. By that, you abstract from the new information, you have to recall it, and while doing that, you also use your loci, your places from the past, which will help you recover that information in the future. Third, after having done that, take a piece of paper and create a concept map. In bubbles, you quickly write down key facts, and with arrows, you link relationships between the bubbles, while also annotating the relationship arrows with information about that relationship. Also keep in mind here that you should make use of patterns. Arrange bubbles in a way where similar facts are in proximity to each other. This enables pattern recognition when you try to recall the information. Fourth, while learning, light a scented candle. Whenever you try to recall information, think of the smell of the candle. I swear to God, this works wonders. By these simple 4 steps, you will become an academic weapon. There's literally no doubt. It is a proven system I have come up with, and all the people I've given these tips to were successful. Do it. There are also other factors that contribute to good studying. One example is intrinsic motivation. We will cover how to enable intrinsic motivation, the will to learn and study, in a future video, so subscribe and hit that bell. But we already covered some of the other factors in other videos. Check out the playlist in the description. The most important is good sleep, at least 8 hours a night. Another is distributed practice. Do not learn for 8 hours a day. It is better to learn 30 minutes per day for a week. Your recall of information will be significantly better. And also exercising and moving. After learning, go for a walk. This is also beneficial for learning and studying. And the last one, hydration. Drink enough, otherwise your brain is not functioning well. Just fill a cup of water when you start your studying session. This will work wonders. If you keep all of this in mind, you will definitely improve your grades. Together we will become academic weapons. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day. I love you guys.